From a man who claims he can fly using his own lung power, to Burger King releasing a left-hand version of their famous burger, we count 5 April Fool's hoaxes that fooled the world. Number 5. UFO Lands in London. On March 31st, 1989, thousands of motorists driving on the highway outside London looked up in the air to see a glowing flying saucer descending on their city. Many of them pulled to the side of the road to watch the bizarre craft float through the air. The saucer finally landed in a field on the outskirts of London, where local residents immediately called the police to warn them of an alien invasion. Soon the police arrived on the scene, and one brave officer approached the craft with his truncheon extended before him. When a door in the craft popped open and a small silver-suited figure emerged, the policeman ran in the opposite direction. The saucer turned out to be a hot air balloon that had been specifically built to look like a UFO by Richard Branson, the 36-year-old chairman of Virgin Records. The stunt combined his passion for ballooning with his love of pranks. His plan was to land the craft in London's Hyde Park on April 1st. Unfortunately, the wind blew him off course and he was forced to land a day early in the wrong location. Number 4. Planetary Alignment. During an interview on BBC Radio 2 on the morning of April 1st, 1976, the British astronomer Patrick Moore announced that an extraordinary astronomical event was about to occur. At exactly 9:47 a.m., the planet Pluto would pass directly behind Jupiter in relation to the Earth. This rare alignment would mean that the combined gravitational force of the two planets would exert a stronger tidal pull, temporarily counteracting the Earth's own gravity and making people weigh less. Moore called this the Jovian-Plutonian gravitational effect. Moore told listeners that they could experience the phenomenon by jumping in the air at the precise moment the alignment occurred. If they did so, he promised they would experience a strange floating sensation. At 9:47, Moore declared, "Jump now!" A minute passed, and then the BBC switchboard lit up with dozens of people calling in to report that the experiment had worked. A Dutch woman from Utrecht said that she and her husband had floated around the room together. Another caller claimed she had been seated around a table with 11 friends and that all of them, including the table, had begun to ascend. Moore's announcement was, of course, an April Fool's Day joke. It became one of the most celebrated April Fool's Day hoaxes of the late 20th century. Number 3. Left-handed Whopper. Burger King published a full-page advertisement in the April 1st edition of USA Today announcing the introduction of a new item to their menu, a left-handed Whopper, especially designed for the 32 million left-handed Americans. According to the advertisement, the new Whopper included the same ingredients as the original Whopper, but all the condiments were rotated 180 degrees for the benefit of their left-handed customers. The following day, Burger King issued a follow-up release revealing that although the left-handed Whopper was a hoax, thousands of customers had gone into restaurants to request the new sandwich. Number 2. Man flies using his own lung power. In April 1934, numerous U.S. newspapers printed a photograph showing a man flying through the air by means of his own lung power. The man was identified as German pilot Erich Kocher. Captions accompanying the photo explained that Kocher was wearing a device strapped to his chest, which consisted of a box and 2 horizontal rotors. By blowing into the box, he could make the rotors revolve. This created enough suction in front of him to propel him through the air. He also wore skis on his feet as landing gears and a fin on his back to steer himself. Among the papers that printed this photo as an authentic piece of news were the New York Daily News, the New York American, and many more. Number 1. Eruption of Mount Edgecumbe. Residents of Sitka, Alaska woke on the morning of April 1st, 1974 to a bright, clear day. They could see right across Sitka Sound to Kruzof Island, where the familiar site of Mount Edgecumbe rests. The volcano has been dormant for over 400 years, but today, something was different. A menacing plume of black smoke was rising from the crater, making it look as if the volcano was on the edge of eruption. Calls poured into local authorities, and the Coast Guard commander radioed the Admiral in Juneau, who ordered a chopper be sent out to investigate. As the pilot approached Mount Edgecumbe, the plume of smoke grew in size. Once above the mountain, he peered down into the crater. At first, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. He looked more closely, and then he laughed. Stacked in the cone of the volcano, burning with an intense flame, was a huge pile of old tires. Spray painted in the snow beside the tires, in black letters, were the words, April Fools. The fake eruption of Mount Edgecumbe was the work of a local prankster, 50-year-old Oliver Bicker. The idea to ignite the volcano had occurred to him in 1971. As soon as he thought of the idea, he knew he had to do it. So he collected 70 old tires that he kept in an airplane hangar, but he had to wait 3 years. On April Fool's Day 1974, the visibility conditions were just right for the prank.